You're watching Best Press Media. I'm Emily Best. On Thursday last week, I followed up with May. May is a postgraduate student at UBC who has been on hunger strike to protest UBC's investment in companies and institutions that are complicit in human rights violations.
What's happening? How are you feeling?
I honestly expected to be way worse off by this point than I am. I'm on day 11 of a hunger strike. UBC Vancouver students, staff, and faculty launched a hunger strike on March 17th last week to escalate pressure on the university's administration to divest from Israeli apartheid, weapons manufacturers, and other companies complicit in war crimes, as well as comply with their mandated goals to expand UBC's positive social impact. I spoke with May on day 2, and I'm here to follow up on day 11. I'm on day 11 of a hunger strike, and I had thought that I would be emotionally a wreck. I thought that physically I would be having dizzy and fainting spells. I'm just impressed at the resilience of the human body and at the ways in which the incredible support and outpouring from the community, where people have dropped by constantly and said, how can we support you? How much that's bolstered us as a team as we've hunger struck this last while. Students, staff, and faculty at UBC Okanagan launched their hunger strike on March 24th in solidarity with UBC Vancouver. As of today, March 29th, they are on their 6th day. May says the community has been standing by in support, with another student even joining the hunger strike on the 4th day. I think that has made my nervous system be in a really good shape this last while. While hunger strikes may not look like much for passers-by, they are a serious and potentially life-threatening form of protest that can lead to severe health complications and even death. We do have a medical team that supports us, and the one thing that the UBC administration seems to have done, I'm not sure if it was directly them or others, is there is a team of nurses that come and just check in once a day on us, and they just say hello, shake our hands, and go. And that's fine. I spoke with Dr. Shrivas Murthy, who is a pediatric intensive care and infectious diseases physician and clinical epidemiologist at UBC. He's been supporting the strikers' health, safety, and well-being by providing them with medical resources and support.
The long-term effects, i.e. if you start to consume a lot of your own bodily fuels, obviously you lose fat, you lose muscle, and then ultimately you start losing organ tissue in some ways. And so you start to experience organ damage. And once that happens, that may or may not be reversible. And so it's something that we want to make sure that people don't progress to, depending on the nature of the strike itself.
My body's under stress. I am at starvation level. I can feel it. I lost 3 kilograms in 1 week, which is unheard of. I've never done that before. I can feel kind of this lethargy and muscle weakness.
When you deprive your body of intake of new fuels, obviously it's going to eat up some of the fuels that live within your body, and that's in your fats and your muscles and so on.
We're taking particular inspiration from Chief Teresa Spence, who catalyzed I Don't Know More.
Hunger striking is a time-honored tradition in terms of protest movements, and there's a lot of resources out there about how to do it well and how to do it safely.
Whether hunger strikers are consuming fluids, electrolytes, and vitamin supplements has a drastic impact on how long their body can withstand the stress. UBC students are consuming fluids and taking vitamins. But despite this, there are still tremendous risks involved and uncertainty as to how their bodies will respond.
A lot of it's left unknown. Communication with folks so that any symptoms can be picked up early is crucial. People have died, obviously, from hunger strikes in the past. Typically, it depends on what they're actually taking in. And so if they're on a no fluid intake, no water intake, the time point starts in the matter of days, and probably within a week. Serious things start to happen. If there's fluid intake with no calories, people typically say, like just drinking water, people say a couple of weeks before you start to see issues. And then if there's fluids with calories, depending on how much there is, it can go a few weeks, or 3 to 6 weeks typically.
Okay, that is helpful.
It varies, as you can tell.
Bodies are complex, as you know, and, most people aren't always aware of exactly what's happening in their body at all times and maybe underlying conditions. What would you say could be like a risk if somebody maybe doesn't know about an underlying condition that they have? What's kind of like the X factor? Like, is there a risk there?
There's no X factor per se. Like the likelihood of someone being completely asymptomatic and then that being revealed only during a hunger strike like this, I think is vanishingly small. Like as a medical expert, like our jobs are obviously to protect individuals and make sure that people are healthy throughout, and not necessarily to apply our own judgments as to like why someone is doing something or something to themselves, whether it's injurious or not. But I think for especially this issue, I think the role of medical experts is especially profound, looking at the health system in Palestine and Gaza right now and how it's being destroyed, and sort of our obligation to do whatever we can. And this is just a small thing that we can do as medical experts to help these students who are so brave and so powerful, then I think we should do it more often, acknowledging it's just a small thing in the broader scope of the battle that we're all fighting.
I guess when it comes to concerns about our health, we all decided what it was that we were hoping to achieve with this, and we are willing to see what happens. We're very aware that it's now the 24th day of complete siege. 24th? 26th. Good grief. 26th day of all food, water, aid, power being blocked in Gaza, and so as we're here, we're taking supplements, we're taking electrolytes, we're keeping our bodies as sheltered as possibly we can. It's not at all the same situation. As much as we can, you never know what will happen to your body, and all of us entered into this knowing that risk was there. In terms of what comes next, we have to, as a group and as really a collective on campus, try to figure out what we can do to take back our power. Because for 15 months now, this administration has continually ignored us, dismissed us, sidelined us, made its own choices that are based off of a calculation of profit and of big money. And we want no part of that. We're very clear that this is a moment of reckoning in history, and this administration is failing abjectly at showing leadership at this point in time. If our student voices can work together to push against it, we will use whatever means at our disposal.
Best Press reached out to UBC's administration last week through the main communications channel, and since we had not heard back, I went in person on Thursday to see if I could set up an interview with Dr. Bacon through his office directly. The top floor office was locked and there was a doorbell. A woman came out who told me I would need to send an email directly to the president's email address. I emailed right away and heard back that I instead need to email the main communications email once again. So I did that again on Thursday. As of the time of publishing this article, Best Press Media has had no response or comment from UBC.
At this point, we're using this extreme act. Next, there will be other acts that come and follow. It might be us, it might be other people, but this is not going to go away. That I can tell you for sure.
Stay tuned for more updates. I will be following up with these hunger strikers throughout the strike and providing updates as I am able. You're watching Best Press Media. I'm Emily Best. News needs to be empowering, and that is why Best Press Media is hoping to change the landscape of how you consume your media and how you stay informed, with wellness at the forefront. If you'd like to support us, you can visit us on Instagram at Best Press Media. You can also support our Patreon page at Best Press Media. And stay tuned, we'll be updating our website at www.bestpress.ca. Thank you.